Hey everybody! Today we are talking about I Love You So Mochi by Sarah Kuhn. I Love You So Mochi is a story about a girl named Kimmy who is trying to sort out her life, who's trying to figure out what her passion is in life and what she wants to do for her future. We start out with a prologue of her in Japan trying to do just that. 2 weeks earlier, we discover that she's just a regular senior in high school who is preparing for this academy that she's been accepted into specifically for the arts. Her mother is also an artist, and so it kind of just seems to run in the family, and her mother thinks that everything's going well and that Kimmy's going to go into this school for the arts. Little does she know that Kimmy has been unsure of this for a while now. As it turns out, Kimmy is very much into fashion. She loves going to thrift shops and buying materials and clothing and changing them and turning them into Kimmy originals. And she gives them to her friends to wear. She wears them herself. And she, as well as her mom, just kind of considers it as a hobby, something that she really likes to do, but is kind of a distraction from what she should be focusing on, which is her art. Now, she is supposed to have been working on this big art piece that is supposed to be like kind of the first thing that she does for the academy that she is being accepted into. And she hasn't touched the canvas at all because she's just has artist's block. And it's because she continues to get distracted by making fashion clothing and looking up things about fashion and creating her own designs and things to give to her friends to wear, things like that. She has two friends, Atsuko and Bei. And those two are, they're both just really supportive of her and wanting to make clothes and stuff like that, and they're all planning to do this really cool spring break adventure together because their spring break's coming up. And Kimmy receives a letter in the mail from her grandparents, whom she's never met because they live in Japan, and it is a ticket to Japan if she chooses to come and visit during her spring break. And so suddenly Kimmy is faced with this decision of, should I go to Japan and meet my grandparents and do that and blow off my friends, even though we've been looking forward to this for a really long time? These grandparents are her mom's parents, and they have not spoken pretty much ever since the mom decided to go to America for college, and she was supposed to return to Japan afterwards with a degree and then to continue to help them on the farm that they have there in Japan. And she doesn't because she meets a boy and she decides to marry that boy, and so she sticks around in America and eventually has Kimmy, and there they are, living in America. And so this caused the family to kind of break apart, and so the mother hasn't spoken to her parents for a very long time. And so this kind of weighs on Kimmy on should she decide to go or not, thinking about her mom's feelings and things like that, and her friends, and if she should blow them off to do this. Eventually, some things happen to where she decides that she needs to go so that she can find herself and figure out what she's going to do if she's not going to be doing art, if she's not going to if that's not actually where her passion is, if that's more of what she does because it was fun and she liked bonding with her mom over it, but ultimately she dropped out of a class that she was supposed to be in. That was an art class that was supposed to be like preparing her and everything, and she dropped out of it, and so clearly her head wasn't really in it. And so she's going to Japan to figure things out. While she's there, on like her first day, she meets this boy that's dressed up in a Mochi costume who helps his uncle run a mochi stand. And he agrees to help her find her way because she's kind of lost, doesn't really know what she's doing in Japan all on her own. And so he helps her out, and they start to spend a lot of time together seeing the different sites, and he really helps her to try to figure out what her passion is. Now, you would think right from the very beginning that it's obvious that her passion is fashion. Be that as it may, she really doesn't know if it's more than just a distraction. Oh, champagne. Still just kind of sees it as something that is just a hobby, and she tells this new friend of hers exactly that. She continues to learn more about her grandparents, about Japan, and about herself. The majority of this book is her being in Japan. She eventually does have to go home, so she returns, and this whole time her mother and her mother have they got into kind of a fight right before she left. And if you want to know why, you have to read the book yourself. But they because of this, it's made Kimmy have kind of a hard time. She feels bad about their fight, and then she just kind of got on a plane and left, and she feels bad about leaving things the way they were, and she sees how her mom and her grandma haven't spoken in years, and she doesn't want that to happen with her and her mom. And so she starts to write emails to her mother to kind of help her mom understand more about things that she's been interested in that she never really talked to her about before, and hoping that maybe her mom would respond back and that they could start to kind of repair their relationship. So she just is not sure what to expect when she returns back from this trip, what's going to happen when she sees her mom in person again. I really liked the aspect of it just being set in Japan for so long, because Akira, the boy that she meets, is taking her around to different places, sightseeing, touristy things, and filling her in on different parts of Japan and making her feel really comfortable there, and making this trip so much better than it could have been, because, you know, she's not alone seeing these things. Sure, she could go with her grandparents to some things, but like, she's able to have fun with this person that knows a lot about it, about all these places that he's taking her to. And so it just made me think how exciting and how fun it would be to go to another country, especially Japan, to see all these really cool things that they have there, like the shrines, and they go to this park with free roaming deer, and they go to this pug cafe, and just like all these really fun things that they get to experience, that she gets to experience. I mean, she is Japanese American herself, and so it seems like she would fit in there, even though she doesn't really know the language or anything. She knows a few things, but not enough to like really know anything on her own. And so meeting Akira was kind of like a blessing for her, to be able to have someone by her side to experiencing these things with. And yeah, so this is, yeah, it is called I Love You So Mochi. So like, you automatically think, well, that must mean that there's gonna be some kind of like a love story attached. And so these two, the more they spend time together, the more she realizes that she really likes this guy. And which is weird, because once she goes back to the States, you know, she doesn't want to think about what would happen after she goes back to the States, and like, she might never see him again, but she can't help but realize that she really likes him. So I did like it. I don't think that it went like too cheesy really ever, and it, you know, because she still like was realistic about things. And yeah, I don't want to say much more, because, you know, you should read it yourself so you can know more about it. But overall, I enjoyed it. I liked reading about the Japan, like being in Japan for the most of this book. I liked that a lot. Because it also helped me learn a lot of things. And there's like this little map in the front that kind of just shows like the different places that she like went to in relation to kind of where her grandparents lived and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty cute, that like you have kind of a reference of the different places that she went to and everything and what they're called and stuff. So I thought that was a nice touch. So if you feel like that would be a nice YA book for you to read, then go for it and then let me know what you think. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.